states who are aggressively moving to prevent transgender athletes playing. And I was wondering, again, I hate to put one more thing on your plate, but in terms of on your radar, where is that? You're going to have a tremendous platform, but where is that going to be on your radar in terms of advocating for, athletes, all athletes, transgender athletes, be able to play?
Oh, I mean, that ranks high on the list of things that I'll be fighting for and speaking up against. You know, everyone deserves the right to play. Everyone deserves the right to come here, sit in these seats and feel safe and not feel like there's a threat or they can't be who they are or like it's just all eyes on them. So I think it's a crime, honestly, to separate someone for any reason. So I definitely will be speaking up against that legislation and those laws that are trying to be passed, for sure.
We like to have a sense that the playing field is level, that there is fairness in competition. Another really important value in sports is that we want everybody to have an opportunity to play, particularly when we're talking about young people. And as a result, with this particular topic, there is apparent conflict between those two values.
We will defend the proud tradition of female athletes, and we will not allow men to beat up, injure, and cheat our women and our girls. From now on, women's sports will be only for women.
You're about to be a mom. How is that feeling? Pops. Oh, let me get it together. About to be a pops.
Brittney Griner's so-called private medical files just blasted across the internet. And if they're the real deal, they paint a picture nobody saw coming. We're talking hormone treatments, surgeries, doctor notes. The exact kind of stuff the WNBA never wanted hitting daylight. Griner's been dominating in the league for years, but after that explosive courtside moment where she snapped and called Caitlin Clark a trash F-word white girl, the floodgates opened, and suddenly her whole past is under the microscope. That one fiery outburst didn't just stir drama, it cracked the door wide open for secrets people never thought would surface. And the WNBA's silence? Beyond suspicious. The league's acting like nothing happened, but the internet isn't stupid. Fans are demanding answers, and the longer the league stays quiet, the more people think they've been sitting on this for years. Whispers are turning into roars, and the pressure is building by the hour. Then came the bombshell. Right after that viral sideline meltdown, alleged medical files started popping up online. And this wasn't just random gossip or TikTok theories. These were papers that looked official. Names, numbers, signatures, doctor jargon, receipts fans couldn't just write off as Photoshop tricks. And here's the kicker. The reports allegedly show testosterone levels outside the normal female range, bone scans flagged as male, and even mentions of past surgeries that had nothing to do with sports injuries. Social media went into full meltdown, and suddenly Brittney's name wasn't just tied to basketball anymore. It was tied to identity, secrecy, and whether the league has been running a cover-up this whole time. But here's where the dots started connecting for people. Trainers had been whispering for years that Brittney didn't heal like anybody else in the league. We're talking injuries that would bench most players for weeks. Yet she was back in a matter of days, moving like nothing ever happened. That's not just impressive, that's flat out suspicious. At first, folks brushed it off with the classic line, "Oh, she's just built different." But now, that phrase hits on a whole new level. Stack that with everything else. The deep voice, the freakishly fast recovery, the towering build. And suddenly, it starts looking way closer to how male athletes bounce back from the grind. The puzzle pieces weren't just sitting there anymore. They were snapping together like crazy. And while the WNBA kept dead quiet, fans went full-blown detective mode. People weren't just scrolling by, they were digging. Old clips got dragged back up, post-game interviews slowed down, training sessions replayed frame by frame. Some fans even cracked open sports medicine studies, trying to break down what they were really seeing with their own eyes. The more people looked, the harder it was to ignore. Her stride, the bounce in her vertical, the wingspan that swallows the paint, the raw force behind those dunks. It didn't look like typical WNBA highlights, not even close. And then came the compilation video that had fans frozen, whispering under their breath, Wait a second, what are we really watching here? So let me get this straight. This is the same league where most players can barely kiss the rim, but Brittney's out here slamming it down like it's child's play? The gap isn't just noticeable, it's glaring and everybody can see it. Then came the clip that had fans' jaws on the floor.
80 points a game. Didi Richards can't get... You just tell she's in a lot of pain. Having another tremendous season. On the second gold medals, we hear the applause as she comes to her feet. She has 26 points tonight, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. It's a tough tumble there as she gets help off the floor.
Brittney Griner posted a topless video on Instagram. No bikini, no cover-up, just straight raw footage. And here's the crazy twist. It didn't even get flagged. Instagram system scanned it, tagged her as male, and left it up. Now think about that. If any other WNBA player dared to post the same thing, it would have been deleted in seconds, no question. But the suspicions don't end there, because let's be real. The chatter around Brittney didn't just start yesterday. The voice, the build, the broad shoulders, the heavyweight frame, fans have been whispering since day one. And then it reached another level when her personal life entered the spotlight. During an interview after her child was born, Brittney casually dropped a bomb. She didn't want to be called mom. She didn't even settle for the neutral parent. She flat out said she wanted to be called Pops. Fans couldn't wrap their heads around it because most women don't welcome a newborn and then insist on being called dad. And yes, we've got the receipts. Here's the actual clip, word for word, so nobody thinks this part is being twisted. And let's be real. After that moment, fans stopped holding back. Some don't even call her Brittney anymore. They straight up call her Brittney Griner. And they're not saying it as some cheap joke. They're saying it with full conviction, claiming Brittney Griner dressed as a woman is just them pointing out what the league refuses to acknowledge. Here's why the outrage is boiling. Women's sports weren't just built for entertainment. They were created to give female athletes a real shot. A fair arena where they wouldn't have to go toe-to-toe with someone carrying male-level biology. That's the entire foundation the WNBA stands on. So if Brittney Griner has been running the league without ever putting verified proof of her gender status out there, then fans are asking, what are we even watching? Because once an athlete who allegedly holds all the physical advantages of a man hits the court against women, it doesn't feel like fair play anymore. It starts looking like straight-up robbery. And this isn't just bitter fans ranting online. Bigger voices outside the league have started stepping in too, echoing the exact concerns parents and players have been shouting for years. And the clip you're about to hear, it proves this is no longer just internet gossip. It's becoming a full-blown movement. You don't have to like the person talking to admit the point hits hard. Because if biological men are allowed to run through women's sports, then what's left to protect? Fans aren't holding back anymore. One viral comment spelled it out. If it quacks like a duck and walks like a duck, then it's a duck. Brittney Griner is not a woman.
We'll defend the proud tradition of female athletes, and we will not allow men to beat up, injure, and cheat our women and our girls. From now on, women's sports will be only for women.
Brittney Griner is a man. Another fan ripped into the league saying, "Who is the WNBA trying to fool? They knew Brittney was a man this whole time, and now they're just scrambling to hide it." That raw frustration is spilling across timelines, and the silence from the league only makes it look like a full-on cover-up. But here's the twist. Brittney hasn't gone quiet. Nope, she's been loud about pushing the idea that trans athletes should get full access to women's sports. No rules, no limits, nothing holding them back. And then came the jaw-dropper. An interview where she didn't just give her opinion, she went all in, calling the idea of blocking biological males from competing against women a crime. That's the exact word she used, crime. And once fans caught wind of that, the backlash didn't just build, it exploded into a firestorm. She's been pushing that message like it's her life's mission, even saying in an interview that letting trans athletes compete without restrictions is her top priority. No ifs, no buts, just full access to women's leagues across the board. But here's the twist. Once people started questioning her own biology, that clip hit completely different. Suddenly, it didn't sound like a random stance. It felt personal. She literally said her #1 focus was making sure trans athletes get full clearance to play in women's sports. And now fans are saying what plenty had already been whispering. Of course she's against a ban, because the second leagues start checking hormone levels, bone density, or even pulling birth certificates, players like Brittney might not even make the cut. And here's where it jumps to another level. Remember, the U.S. literally swapped her for the merchant of death. Victor Bout, the arms dealer who fueled wars with missiles, bombs, and weapons of mass destruction, all for the highest bidder. That's the guy America traded to bring Brittney home. And people haven't forgotten what happened when Russia first locked her up. They didn't stick her in a women's facility. They sent her into a men's prison. Fans still bring that up to this day, and one comment summed it up perfectly. The Russians aren't stupid. They knew exactly what they were doing. Now watch this carefully. The actual footage of Brittney's swap for Victor Bout. Look at how the cameras framed it, because this scene still blows people's minds even today. That wasn't just a prisoner exchange, it was a statement. Because while she was locked up, Russia put her in a men's prison. Ask yourself, would they have done that if they truly believed she was biologically female? And here's where the double standard slaps real women right in the face. Female athletes who never touched surgery, never messed with hormones, never pretended to be anything else, have been banned from their sports just for having naturally high testosterone. Olympic medalists, world champions, women at the top of their game sidelined over something they were simply born with. Look at Caster Semenya, banned, Duty Chand, suspended, Christine Mboma from Namibia, blocked from running her best events because her natural levels didn't fit the rulebook. These are women born female, raised female, living as female their entire lives, and yet they got punished for their own biology. So why does Brittney get a free pass? Why are these other women tested, scanned, poked, and treated like experiments, while one player allegedly bends every biological rule in the book and walks away untouched?
It pisses me off because I don't think there's anyone in America that supports the WNBA more than NBA players.
100%.
The NBA players support the WNBA like
the most.
More than we probably support the NBA. And it bothers me.
And let's be real, the WNBA isn't just selling basketball, they're selling an image. Their whole brand is wrapped up in being woke, progressive, and unapologetically inclusive. And they don't just say it, they plaster it everywhere. From sponsor commercials to massive arena banners, all the way to Pride Night spectacles designed to scream how loyal they are to the cause. But if Brittney's entire identity ever gets proven fake, the backlash would be nuclear. And that would only be the start, because if it's confirmed, the legal blowback would be devastating. Imagine this, lawsuits pouring in from every player who ever had to face her. Athletes who lost games, missed out on bonuses, watched endorsements vanish, or saw career milestones stolen, all because they were competing against someone with a hidden biological advantage. And it wouldn't stop there. Corporate sponsors who dropped millions thinking they were backing women's basketball would come storming back with fury. Some would demand explanations, others might demand their money back. That kind of chaos could crush the league overnight. But here's the real kicker. The fallout wouldn't just wreck the WNBA. The NBA would get dragged right into the mud too. Because the NBA doesn't just clap from the sidelines, they bankroll the W, they manage it, they keep it alive. And if the W crashes under this storm, the NBA takes a nasty hit right along with it. Now, before we move on, you have to see this. A clip of Draymond Green, an NBA champion, openly admitting that the NBA isn't just supporting the WNBA, they're keeping it alive. This isn't casual help, it's full-on life support. And he said it straight to the cameras. And here's the bombshell nobody wants to say out loud. If Brittney's true status ever gets officially exposed, it won't just shake basketball, it'll send shockwaves through every major sport on the planet. From track to tennis, from soccer to swimming, if this blows open, it could force leagues everywhere to bring back strict biological testing. And in today's world of politics and identity wars, that would set off a firestorm like nothing we've seen in sports history. So when people ask, why is the WNBA staying silent? Why are they pretending this isn't happening? The answer is simple, because admitting it would be catastrophic. And here's the part nobody dares whisper, let alone say out loud. If the WNBA let this slide once, what's stopping it from still happening right now? Who else could they be covering for behind the curtain? Because if Brittney Griner really was born male and the league allegedly knew all along, then this isn't just another sports scandal. This is a cover-up of historic proportions. So tell me, is the WNBA hiding the biggest secret in women's sports? Or is all this smoke without fire? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, share this video everywhere, and don't forget to subscribe. Because the next twist in this saga? Trust me, you don't want to miss it. See you on the next one.